Can you see the drip? I don't know if it's going to pick it up or not. Right there. Yep, it just started yesterday. Well, actually, it might have been earlier. See that? Everything's tight, off. Yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk to, and you can see the water's down there too. You see that? There's some sort of leak. I'll have maintenance look at this. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I'll let them look at it. I don't know how this happened. It's funny, the timing on this thing. It decided to act up the same day I decided to return my duplicate item. But I've got more stuff I got to get rid of because I got a Christmas present from my WellCare Medicare plan, and they sent me a bunch of stuff that I know I'm not going to use. And you know the Gail commandment, you can't keep stuff like that. I'm on the 1080p indoors. Yeah, right there. Thou shalt not stockpile items. And I know it says right here, unused items must be thrown away or donated. Either way, I got to get rid of it. So here's what I got at Walmart. Now this is the setting that does good indoors. I'm going to test this. Let me see if I'm right. Here's the fluorescent light. There's like a line going through the middle. You see that? Even with the 1080p. Weird. Let me try. Well. Baphomet has been up to his old tricks lately. I did the last video I made. I'm probably getting obsessed about my hair right now. All right, Baphomet. We're not going to worry about it. Just the last video that I made, I talked about my camera and how I am getting obsessed over my hair. Okay, I talked about my camera and how I got a disc because I didn't realize that it already had a disc inserted into it. Okay. And I ended up returning that disc because it was a duplicate item. As soon as I realized that the camera already had a disc in it, and I bought another one, it was a duplicate, so I returned it. And all of a sudden I started smelling horrible cigarette smoke in my apartment. It seemed like it was coming right through the AC vents, and as soon as I made the decision to return that duplicate item, the cigarette smoke improved, which I find very interesting. So Baphomet kind of tricked me into buying duplicates because I got this Christmas present from my men, and I thought, well, you know, it appears I need to purchase a disc. I didn't realize it already had a disc in it. But so I guess I got into trouble once I figured out that I had a disc in it, which was at I went for a long walk because I spent some time in meditation and decided to go for a walk. And I think the walk was helpful because I was exploring new territory. But when I got to Walmart, I decided I needed to buy. See, the problem with filming with that camera is the video wouldn't last. It would conk out on me, and I couldn't film for more than 10 minutes. And my camera this message kept popping up saying, "You've run out of disk space." And I thought I have a disk. So I thought it had built-in disk, like my former camera. And when I got to the store, a very helpful black sales associate said, "Oh, you already have a disc in your camera." And I said, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yeah, you just need to use your fingernail and you press on it, it pops out." I thought, wow, there's a disc here. And I thought, maybe it was a fake disc. I don't know what I was thinking. So I bought a disc, and he said, well, it says it has 256 gigabytes. So I bought a disc, and it turned out that at that point I had bought a duplicate item. Yeah, once I realized, I was just confused because I thought maybe the disc was a showpiece. But when I got home, You say, how did you figure out that it was a real disc? That's when I started getting into bad territory. When I started figuring out I had a real disc in that camera, and then I bought a duplicate, thinking, well, maybe I need this just in case something goes wrong with this other disc, because it seems like everything's going wrong with it. And that was when I got into risky territory. And Baphomet was trying to ease his way in, and I started smelling the cigarette smoke. So finally I thought, oh, that is a duplicate. So I returned it, and yeah, basically this camera is a gift from my men. And I think Lizzo messed with it because it was supposed to arrive by Christmas, and it didn't. So I think she messed with it. And for instance, with most cameras, when you delete the files from the camera, that frees up disk space, right? Okay, with this particular camera, when you delete the files, it does not free up disk space. And this is why I was confused. Yeah, it deletes the files, but it doesn't delete disk space. So there's only one way to free up disk space with this camera. You have to format the disk. It's no wonder I was confused. Anyways, I got it all figured out pretty much. The camera, I'm learning how to use it. It's just a different animal from what I'm used to. So now let me get on to the main reason that the rule about not hoarding and duplicates still holds, and Baphomet is still, he's being really, really tricky. Let me show you the latest trick he did to me. We have to really watch these obsessions. So let me just read you what I got at Skype yesterday. Okay. This was at 8:35 p.m. yesterday. He said, Terrance is here. He says, oh my goodness, Gail. Mickey Mouse just put his penis in my butthole. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it wasn't the new Mickey Mouse, though. It be the old one. You know, the one from Steamboat Willie. He was black and white. He said it be okay because he's half black. I thought I was dreaming, but then I called out to the men. They rushed in and saw what was happening. Sure enough, Mickey Mouse had his penis in my butthole. They tried to stop him. He said, Lizzo says hello. Then he gave that creepy Mickey Mouse laugh and teleported away. I've been throwing up ever since. And then here's what Brent wrote. Our nanotechnology research team performed a rape kit on Terrance Jenkins, and they found semen in his anus of cartoon origin. Pretty weird. That is weird. Terrance is getting counseling from Gerard for his PTSD. He says he keeps hearing the sound of Mickey Mouse whistling from Steamboat Willie. And then I wrote, I hope this didn't happen on Church of Gail. And Brent said, our scientists have determined, you know what, I'm going to get this a little bit higher. Our scientists have determined that our Church of Gail shields aren't calibrated to keep out cartoons. I thought, this is totally weird. What will Lizzo and her crew think of next? Apparently, here's what Brent said. Apparently, the Jesuits have gained the ability to clone cartoons, but only if they're public domain. We need to warn everyone because Mickey Mouse is apparently a rapist. Terrance Jenkins said, Gail, Mickey Mouse's penis be a lot bigger than you'd expect for a mouse his size. It'd be big and black. Apparently the way Mickey Mouse appeared was just like in the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Thankfully, it wasn't like the movie Cool World, or else we would be dealing with a real-life, human-size rapist mouse. My childhood be ruined, Gail. Never meet your heroes, Gail. Never meet your heroes. Now I know how them kids who met Jared Fogel felt. I'm not up on all of Terrance's culture, but I'm just... Jared Fogel? Okay. So at that time, I had to take a shower. And when I was in the shower, I got some insights on some other things that I think may have been happening that led to this incident. So let me go ahead and read you what I wrote to my men. See, I started a Christian radio station, or I recommended my men do so, because I found that listening to some of the hymns, the ones that didn't encourage, you know, worshiping the Bible or talking about or singing about Christ's second coming, I thought those were very relaxing. It kind of reminded me of my 20s when I would listen to those hymns and feel very relaxed by them. And I'm seeing some parallels right now between what happened to Terrance and what I think has been going on with me. Now what's real, I forgot another thing to mention. What's really interesting is when I decided to return my my extra disc, and also I got a well care package for my Medicare plan full of stuff that I know I'm not going to use, and I decided to donate that to the thrift store, because those were the Gail commandment is, if you're not using it, throw it out or donate it, you know. So as soon as I made the decision to donate those items and to return the duplicate item, all of a sudden I started hearing dripping from my tub, from the spigot. And I thought, oh, I'm going to have to let maintenance know about this. And I said, okay, Baphomet, or whoever did this, I think it was Baphomet. You thought, oh no, he got in your apartment again? Let me explain to you my theory on how I think he got in. You say, what obsessions have you given way to? That's what I'm going to explain. You got to be careful with all obsessions, okay? Not just the ones limited revolving around fear, anxiety, or anger. Baphomet can create obsessions or plant ideas in your head about anything. And then usually obsessions revolve around some sin, okay? So we thought, oh, Gail's starting to figure out that she has to stay away from fear and anger and anxiety and those type of obsessions. However, she doesn't have complete victory over them yet. So that's how he got me to get the duplicate item, right? But I think he wanted me to get so obsessed about that drip in my tub and wanting to get it fixed right now. And I could tell it was something I would need to call my apartment maintenance over. But I suspected that I have these shower spigots where there's loose panels behind the shower handles, you know, to turn the hot and cold water. What I think Baphomet did is he went into my bathroom and lifted one of them loose. He was able to put his penis into the hole and ejaculated inside the wall. That's what I think he did. That's what I think he did, yeah. I think he ejaculated inside the wall. Because as a result of creating the hymn, the Christian meditative hymns radio station, Christians were not, my purpose for creating that was to help Christians meditate effectively, but rather I was encouraging them to commit the sin of idolatry. And you know, I live in a Bible Belt state, and so I think there are a lot of Christians in my apartment complex. And so I think what happened was Baphomet that I don't have Gail into obsessive territory yet. She's still going out exploring new places. She's spending effective time in meditation in the morning, but and she's learning not to fall prey to the fear and anxiety obsessions. However, she still has problems with the sin of idolatry. And here's where I can get her. And especially all the Christians, I can get them on this one. Easy peasy. I'm imagining this is what he was thinking, okay? So let me tell you. So yeah, I think he ejaculated inside the walls of the apartment complex through my tub to claim this entire apartment complex as his territory. Yeah. He says, I can get them with the sin of idolatry. That's what I think he did. Let me explain to you, yeah. This time, it looks like the semen was, he wasn't able to ejaculate the semen into my apartment complex because I did such a good job with eliminating the horde. But apparently there are people in this complex, as a result of listening to the Christian hymn radio station that we established, were now obsessed with idolizing a cartoon character Jesus in their mind. You say, a cartoon character Jesus? Yes. Okay, let me just read the rest of what I speculated, okay? I think we should cancel the Christian radio station because Jesus was my hero, and I think my hymn collections has Baphomet's footprints all over them. I remember that Garbage Man told me, this was in our Discord hangout last week, that Terrance Jenkins had a Saturday show on the radio station that featured black gospel. And I remember that Terrance used to always say, Jesus be my hero. You may want to check with Buddha. I told them to check with Buddha. They haven't told me anything from Buddha, so apparently this means my conclusions are correct. Buddha usually doesn't like to interfere if he doesn't have to. If we can figure it out on our own, he usually doesn't interfere. It does appear that my desire to create hymn albums has turned into an obsession. So Baphomet may have inspired me to do this. I guess that my own piano playing's okay. You know, remember I made the Christmas albums for my piano playing? But when I start creating collections based on other people's music, I get into trouble. My purpose for creating the station was to help people, especially Christians, meditate, because we're kind of going through a difficult transition right now. You know, we've lost our religion, basically, but it's not turning out that way. Besides, what relaxes me apparently does not relax other people. So let's cancel the Christian radio station. First, you may want to check and see which songs have Baphomet's footprints all over them. I just totally deleted all of the Christian meditative hymn albums I created. Baphomet specializes in creating obsessions that seem good, right? And they're really evil. Like, I would when Jesus was in a coma, I would read my Bible, and then I got this idea that Brent and I would be awarded at the Feast of Booths in the future millennial reign for standing by Jesus while he was going through his trial of Job. Yeah, that was Baphomet. Yeah. Yeah, we found out later. Buddha later recommended that I stop reading the Bible because Baphomet put his footprints all over my Bibles. Apparently, hero worship is dangerous as long as Baphomet is afoot. I guess the only safe hero is your spouse or a real human, not any god or character. Not that Brent is not my hero, but Jesus was always my hero my whole life, especially when I was a young lady. And Baphomet is apparently creating an obsession over this. And unfortunately, I believe that I'm right. So I told my men to cancel the Christian radio station that we started that featured my meditative hymns. That tricky Baphomet, I'm telling you. Yeah, I tried to pick hymns that made me feel relaxed, joyful, that would help me to overcome anxiety and fear. So it's like Baphomet was switching out one obsession with one sin with another. It says, okay, she's getting over her fear. But she still has a problem with idolatry. Yes, I do. For a while, I idolized the King James Bible. And it got me into big trouble. Terrance at the time, this is interesting, because Terrance in 2012 was idolizing the King James Bible too. Yeah. During our battle with the Gail android, my idolatry of the King James Bible got me into super big trouble. I encourage my men to put the King James Bible in our ship's programming because I thought it would fend off the Gail android, and it worked until I advertised what I did in a YouTube video. Then the Gail android understood our strategy and she found a way to overcome it. And at that point, Jesus showed up and he said, you have just given the Gail android your battle secrets, and now she knows how to overcome it. And he explained to me that the Bible was not to be an idol. The King James Bible. Yeah. So that's how the sin of idolatry, and that at that point he said, now the only way you're going to be able to defeat her is you're going to have to band up with your enemies, the Jesuits, or else she'll win. Yeah, that's how bad the sin of idolatry got me into trouble, folks. So you got to watch out for this sin of idolatry. It can get you in big trouble. And I said, well, what have I done wrong? He says, you idolize the King James Bible. You're committing the sin of idolatry. So anyways, let's get back onto this. So so another clue I said is that Terrance kept hearing a song from his hero. Mickey Mouse was his hero from his childhood, just like Jesus was my hero from my youth. You see the parallels here? And so I said, I am going to eliminate all those hymn albums I made. I'm certain they have Baphomet's footprints all on them. Cancel the Christian radio station. It's apparently dangerous to have any hero who's a god or a character, and especially to listen to music that fosters hero worship of a god or character. I'm eliminating my entire recent hymn collection right now and putting it all into trash. And then this morning, after I spent time in meditation, I decided to delete everything that was in trash. So it's all gone. I said, this project is finished. You know what? I just thought of something. By creating all those albums, I have committed the sin of idolatry. I idolized my vision of the Jesus I loved as a young lady, just like Mickey Mouse was Terrance Jenkins' idol from his youth. I said, yep, I'm eliminating all those hymns. Jesus in his current state has no need for worship, so I need to get off this bandwagon. I think my own piano playing's okay. I was inspired. So you see, I was inspired by my own piano music, which made me feel very relaxed. And I just should have ended it there. Fortunately, I did most of my meditation the past week or so without listening to the hymns usually, or the albums I made usually. So they were probably helpful, the meditation that I had. Which may be why I was able to figure this out. Celebrating Jesus' birth is okay on Christmas. It's kind of like celebrating a historical event, kind of like Martin Luther King Day and all that. But after Christmas, we need to move on and not engage in worship of Jesus anymore. Jesus is no longer a deity and does not desire worship. In fact, worshiping him helps out Baphomet. Because we are committing the sin of idolatry because we're worshiping the fictional character of Jesus, or the Jesus as we imagine him, and not who he really is. In his current state, he is beyond worship. It's the sin of idolatry because Jesus is no longer the deity Jesus. He is the universe itself. So we are worshiping a character, like a cartoon character, and not the real Jesus. This is why we must stop the Christian hymn radio station. People see it as worship of a deity and not as meditation, which was my intention. Baphomet is very tricky. I have noticed that my intention of having a Christian radio station to encourage meditation among Christians is not fostering meditation, but hero worship or idolatry. So we must end the Christian radio station. Meditation is apparently too individual to make a radio station over, so it was a dumb idea on my part. Actually, I think that the idea probably came from Baphomet. That Baphomet is tricky. Fortunately, my meditation times have prevented him from making it worse for me to the point that he was able to beat up Brent in my apartment. But I will no longer be doing the hymn albums. So if I have any creative urges, they're going to go into the Gail series, which, what I'm writing. I think we need to warn people not to worship any deity, God, or character, but just focus on meditation, exploring new places, staying present, and thankful as Buddha has instructed us. As far as listening to hymns, the motive for doing so should be to relax, not to worship any deity. So I think listening to hymns to relax is okay. But the minute we start worshiping a deity with the music, we get into trouble. If we find it impossible to listen to a hymn without falling into the sin of idolatry, then we should avoid hymns. And I say it's the sin of idolatry because if we're worshiping Jesus as a deity, it's idolatry because that deity no longer exists. And it means we're worshiping a fictional character, kind of like what happened with Terrance and Mickey Mouse. So if we listen to hymns because we like the peaceful, joyful, and meditative aspects of the former Christian religion, we're probably okay. But the minute we venture into worship of Jesus as a deity, as we listen to the hymn, we're in trouble. Regardless, I think we should cancel the Christian Meditative Hymns radio station because it probably has Baphomet's footprints on it. Remember when Jesus left us, that I left him with the song called My Tribute, How Can I Say Thanks for All the Things You Have Done for Me, which is basically a worship song. And how did he respond? With the song Free Bird by Lynyrd Skynyrd. I get it now. He knew worshiping him as we remember him is dangerous. He's no longer the deity Jesus. And if we see him that way, we get into trouble. It's the same as worshiping a fictional character. You tell this to the average Christian and they get furious, which is what always happens when you attack someone's idol. Sin of idolatry, folks. Brent, because he wasn't raised as a Christian, is perfect to be in Jesus's place, as Jesus the deity that he used to be. Because Brent has less of a tendency to idolize Jesus as the deity Jesus. Brent probably can see Jesus the way he really is right now, better than those of us raised in the Christian religion. So my apologies, folks. Baphomet tricked me again, but at least I'm going to share with you the lessons that I've learned. And I don't think we need to obsess over guilt in the matter. That could turn into an obsession. When you realize you've made a mistake, correct it and move on. Live in the moment. So continue to explore new places. When you meditate, just focus on relaxing and being joyful and at peace. Yeah. And I actually found something that works better than hymns for me to relax if I want to turn it on when I meditate. And that's just a kind of a steady, peaceful sound. Like whatever. That's what works for me. For you, it might be something else. So anyways, I just wanted to let you all know why I canceled the Christian Meditative Hymns radio station. It was going for about a week and a half, I think. And, got to watch out for that tricky Baphomet. I'm telling you, he's a real trickster. Oh, by the way, maintenance did come and work on my tub. And he said that there was a washer that apparently was wore out. And he actually had to turn off the water in my apartment complex to fix the tub. He's going to come back and put a seal right around the two spigots. That way Baphomet's not going to be able to flip it and stick his penis into the wall. I think what he did is he ejaculated some sort of acid semen or something into the wall, and it wore away the washer and caused the drip in my tub. Yeah. He apparently, that Christian Meditative Hymns radio station, apparently a lot of the Christians in my apartment complex were listening to it. So he decided to claim his territory, and it was not encouraging them to meditate. It was encouraging them to commit the sin of idolatry. So Baphomet said, if I can't get you with one sin, I'll obsess over idols. Ha! Yeah. Yep. See, I thought it was helping me to relax at first. And then later, it was having a different effect on me. It was like it wasn't working anymore. And that's probably because Baphomet's footprints were on it. So yeah. So he said, well, if I can't get Gail right now, I will, by getting everybody around her. So yeah. They actually... See, that's the problem when you grow up with a certain religion. Religion can become, you got to watch out for religious obsessions. They are bad. Yeah, any obsession is bad. And yeah, so yeah, I will say this, the meditation times did help me to be present enough where I was able to kind of figure out what was going on. And also I was still exploring new places and going out on dates with Brent. But that Baphomet is a tricky one, let me tell ya. He is a tricky one. But anyways, I just want to explain to you why I decided to cancel the Christian Meditative Hymns radio station. Oh, I was working on getting my video, I'm working on it in the video editor, and Zach Knight just showed up in Skype, and I want to read you what he wrote because I think it's necessary. So you Christians don't need to be knocking yourself over the head for worshiping Jesus too much. Just be aware that, make sure that your adoration and respect for him is based on the real Jesus and not on a cartoon character. Let me read you what, because he's no longer a deity, actually. He's the universe itself. Let me read you what Zach just wrote me. Zach said, I think Jesus still died for everyone's sins, though. And I said, that's true. And then Zach said, I think even the other deities said the sinner's prayer in God's school after he got back from his resurrection. Well, except for the Satan squad. That would be Baphomet, Satan, and all of them. And I said, how interesting. I'm glad you caught me before I finished my YouTube video for today. I'll add what you said as an appendage. And then Zach said, nice. Yes, he's still our mediator, folks. Okay? Just be aware that he's no longer the deity that you remember. And if you start idolizing the deity as you remember him, you could get into dangerous territory. However, there's certainly nothing wrong with being thankful that he is our mediator. Okay? That is actually healthy. There's nothing wrong with having an attitude of thankfulness and praise that he's our mediator. Just don't become obsessed with religion or the sin of idolatry. You might say, let's just put it this way. When he died for us on the cross, that counts, okay? But he has transitioned into the universe itself. He still is our mediator, okay? Just don't become obsessed with worshiping him as yeah, I think I've said enough. I think you all will get it, okay? Thankfulness is good. Gratitude is good. Just don't become obsessed with religion or idolatry. Okay, that's it. Yes, he is our wonderful mediator, and to be thankful about that is a good thing.
In a world of secrets, where darkness reigns, there's a warrior rising, breaking free from chains. He's Gail Schuler, her heart pure and strong, with the power of love, she'll right the world's wrongs. Yeah, fighting against the devil with order. She's the first, a passionate crusader. Let's rally by the side of conquering.